Hey guys, this is Zach Team Covenant. I'm joined by Steven and Robert, and we're here to unbox the Battle of Hoth, the 5th Force Pack in the Hoth cycle for the Star Wars LCG, and
it's amazing.
It is amazing. We did do a quick unboxing of this at Gen Con this past weekend. It was a little bit frantic. We were really excited about the cards, and we only, lots of stuff going on, so we had to just get it done and go fast. And we're revisiting it. This is the more calm, cool, collected, in-depth version of that unboxing. But if you like to see frantic things, you can watch that video.
I don't mind it. I like frantic things.
So this pack starts off big. Vader's Fist, the name of the 501st Legion. It's a 5/1 objective set, or objective, Hoth objective. While this objective is undamaged, reduce each opponent's reserve value by 1.
It's Hoth. It's a huge ability. It gets shut off easily.
I really like the while undamaged mechanic.
Yeah.
I think it does a lot to balance super powerful effects like the Captain Neda's objective set, but it's just a way to give you something huge, and if your opponent can't get a damage in, which against Sith, which this is a Sith objective, I guess I should mention that. Sometimes it can be hard to get damage in.
Very hard.
It can be hard.
I worry about the game where you drop 2 of these on the opening, and it's now my reserve is 4 at the start of the game. So my draw phase comes, I have to discard instead of draw, and then I have to somehow find a way to damage both of those against a Sith deck that just drew 6 cards and played out
I'm
stuff.
picturing this glorious opening of 2 Vader's Fists, which is great. Your opponent has to discard down to 4. At the end of the draw phase, you drop an interrogation. I'm going to look at your hand, I'm going to discard 1. So now you're at 3 cards going into your first turn, which is awful, and the Sleuth Scouts deserve it.
Now, there are, was it Reconnaissance Mission that raises the reserve value for the light side? So you might have to actually start looking at throwing things in that are going to push your reserve. I think this is going to see all sorts of play, assuming the cards are any good, which we know that they are.
Which, I mean, you can't really expect to have 2 of these out. But
no, but it will happen.
If you run 2 of these objective sets, you probably will get 1 out.
Yes.
Most times. But there will be games where 2 of these hit the board, and that will be painful.
Bananas.
It'll be scary.
So let's see what backs up this apparently awesome objective. We have a 2-cost. We have 2 of these. 2-cost Sith unit. 1 Force icon, the 501st Trooper. 1 black unit damage. 1 edge-enabled blast damage. Character Trooper, 2 health. This unit gains black blast while it's attacking a Hoth objective.
Yep.
That's a 2 for 2
solid
with
dude.
2 icons that gains an icon. It's solid.
Yeah,
Very
and
solid.
I feel like much needed objective damage in the Sith arsenal.
They do need objective damage. That is 100% for certain. So next up, we actually have the 501st Legion.
What?
4 cost, 2 Force icons, Sith unit, 4 black unit damage.
It's crazy.
Character Trooper, 4 health.
That's so scary. It's like
intense,
the best blocker
man.
in the game.
I mean, even there's a lot of ways this is good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I mean, Han Solo doesn't do nothing against this.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I
home
can't
one
stop
record.
shaking my head no.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to note
crazy.
this is an objective set that has 3 characters, which is
Big.
a little above average, which is
Yeah.
a good thing. But it's also got 3 troopers in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're
Hello,
potentially seeing a
troopers.
rise of the troopers.
A new deck, a new Sith Trooper deck is born.
Indeed.
With Imperial
With
Splash.
Imperial, of course.
Even
Yeah.
if you just start Sith, run 2 of this plus something else, now you've got a whole bunch of troopers to throw into your troopers with the Imperials. There's a lot of ways to build
If you
that.
control elements, that'd be cool.
But yeah, so that's interesting. 4 black unit damages.
Nuts.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what was the next closest? It was the Coruscant Defense Fleet or whatever it was.
5 edge enabled.
Yeah, but it's edge enabled.
Unit
But
damage.
these are black.
Well, and that thing can only block.
Correct.
This thing can attack if it really wants to.
Yeah.
Which, if you think about it, it's like, oh, I'm going to attack with, my Jawa and my 501st Legion. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god.
Dare you to defend.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, all right, you defend, I'll pass. Put the Jawa in my hand and then annihilate whatever you blocked with. And it's especially in the early portions of the game, it's not like you just have too many chumps to just block with.
Yeah.
You really don't. So it really, in a way, is its own removal card. It's also a great blocker for some of those beefier.
It's mind-blowing card, yeah.
Beefier
It's
characters.
awesome.
Yeah.
So far, this objective set is
solid.
as
Next
good as I
up,
remember it.
we have a neutral enhancement, 1 cost, 1 Force icon, E-Web Heavy Repeating Blaster. It's a weapon. Enhance your play area. Focus this enhancement to have a target trooper unit gain a black objective damage until the end of the phase.
Awesome.
Paul love it.
That's what Trooper wants. And to finish out this Hoth objective, we have Battle of Hoth.
Which, let me know,
Classic.
is fantastic for its 3 Force icons.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
I saw that a lot in the at Gen Con. Now, you and Grant both here from Tulsa played in that tournament Gen Con.
Nationals, for sure.
Yeah, so you made top 16, and then Grant actually went on to get second place.
Yeah, he made the finals.
Made the finals, so we were all up kind of rooting for him. So you guys have seen what the meta is now, and I feel like everything has changed after this pack. That's just my personal feeling. I was saving up for Netrunner personally, but as I was watching those games, I was thinking, man, that Battle of Hoth pack that I just saw, that I just unboxed, is going to change everything here.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It makes decks possible, or not even possible, but maybe even consistent, that weren't consistent before. So when you introduce 2 or 3 even viable options into a scene or a tournament like meta, what it does is groundbreaking, because now the light side has to worry about those things and potentially tech for them. But on the flip side, if they're teching for that, some of the older dark side options that are less good now because of what's being teched against, all of a sudden are viable.
It's like a metagame.
It is like a metagame. So, but just to talk about Battle Hoth for a second, obviously you're running Hoth objectives with this. The ability to remove a damage of one of yours, or if they're running Hoth, do a damage to one of theirs, helps you keep some objectives undamaged that you want them to be undamaged. The 3 Force icons is critical. I mean, being able to drop 1 card on defense and knowing it's a 3, there are only so many cards your opponent could have that can beat that.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
So, very, very classy Sith objective set.
Well, let's move on to the Unstoppable Advance, see if the Imperials can keep up here. It is a 5-2, so already looking great, and it's Imperial Navy only, so no cool effect, no big deal. I'm just thinking that the cards in here likely pretty impressive. And we get the AT-AT, also known as the AT-AT if you're a child like I was. I always call it the AT-AT.
Not all of us were children.
I think that really is going to differentiate 2 types of people. I always said AT-AT. Everyone else said AT-AT. So, you know. I like spelling words.
I didn't know what they were called
until
I was an adult.
4 cost. It's a vehicle and a walker. It has 1 force icon, which is exactly what it should have.
Yeah.
2 black unit damage and 2 edge-enabled objective damage. That's bringing the goods. Also has shielding, which is just massively good.
What?
And reaction after this unit is focused to strike. Instead of resolving its combat icons, you can discard a target non-limited enhancement from play. This card is great. It does everything you want. You can. This answers everything that you could ever dream of answering. I love it.
What's it? Hit points again? 3.
It's 4 cost, 3 health.
3 health. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is right where you want it. It can't be rebel assaulted. With shielding, the great part of shielding is the fact that you can't just attack with a single tactics guy and focus him down.
Correct.
Like that's where that magic is. I mean, they attack on offense and you block, you resolve a strike, right? And it's like, oh, see you, trust your feelings.
Yeah.
Or old bent spirit, or
You're outta here.
heavy blaster emplacement. Getting rid of that. That is a card.
It's very serious. I love it. All right, so we've got the AT-AT or the AT-AT, and then we have the Assault Formation, 6 cost, 2 force icons, 4 black icons, 1 unit, 3 objective. So, I mean, 1 turn of this, and
That's
you're losing
scary.
an objective pretty much. It has shielding as well, just massively good. And when this unit is focused to strike, deal 1 damage to each enemy Hoth objective.
This is Helm 1
What?
for the Imperials, baby.
What?
Yeah.
The Battle of Hoth is significant here.
Also, it's worth noting a couple things here. Shielding is such a big deal because of, 1, shielding, but 2, the resource enhancement that gives all your shielded units an extra blast damage. Secondly, man, that card is good.
So good.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
so
the ability
good.
to do 1 damage to everything, is so critical.
And we have ways to reduce the cost of vehicles to get this guy out faster. I'm loving it.
I love it.
So let's go to the Orbital Resupply Station. 1 cost, a location, 1 force icon. Enhance your play area. Reduce the cost to play each Imperial Navy vehicle unit with a printed cost of 4 or higher by 1.
It's unbelievable.
That's where the magic is right there.
Yep.
AT-ATs for 3.
It's
Formation
unreal.
for 5. You can reduce in other ways. Love this card.
It's
I love
unreal.
it.
It's also, before we get too much further in subjective set, this also has 3 units,
Yes.
which is important.
Yeah.
Because
And-
drawing units turns out to be critical.
And it goes really well in a lot of other decks too. Like, you're running vehicles anyway. Let's say you're running a bunch of TIE fighters and stuff, and you're doing that whole thing.
Mhm.
That resupply station is going to help you out, and you get that AT-AT business as well. So I really think this can go into some serious Imperial decks.
Exactly right.
And let's see, 2 cost, finish it out with an aggressive assault. It's 2 force icons. The art on this is probably some of the best that I've seen. This whole objective set is some of the best I've seen in all of Star Wars. Play only if you control at least 1 Hoth objective. Action, deal 1 damage to each enemy objective.
Solid.
I mean,
yeah. So, what I really think this objective set is doing, one of 2 things. Either you're putting it into an Imperial deck that is just going to vehicle it out, try to play 2 or 3 huge vehicles a turn, tons of resources, tons of economy, that whole thing. What I also see it potentially taking the place of is typically in a Sith control deck, you actually start Imperial for the Admiral Mahdi objective set, Imperial Command. And then you either run one of those and then 2 of another objective set, which has in the past been the Death and Despair, which has the Devastator for the offensive, like, I'm going to play it down, attack, raise the Death Star die by 2 because he blew something up.
Yep.
The only problem with that is it's so like rare that you see it. So a lot of people also ran the Star Destroyer objective set that has 2 of them with shielding, and that way you could kind of get some guaranteed offense. I see this objective set taking the place of the Devastator objective set in those builds for a handful of reasons. One, you get 3 big characters.
Yeah, more characters.
You get enhancement control. You also get a card that you pay 2 and do 1 to everything.
Yeah.
Which is big.
So long undamaged objective set.
Because the smugglers getting your unopposed bonus raised to 2 whenever that objective is unopposed or undamaged is awful. And so having a way to just play a card and be like, hey, all these guys are taking 1 damage is fantastic.
Hitting the spigot. Okay, so next up then we have our first light side objective out of this pack. I'm super excited. It's for the Rebels. It's Attack Pattern Delta. It is a 5/1 Hoth objective, and it reads, action, if you control more Hoth objectives than your opponent, look at the top card of your deck. If it is a vehicle unit with cost 2 or lower, put it into play, limit once per turn.
Very cool.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. I mean,
cool.
Y-Wings, X-Wings, Speeders, like, and
so many things.
And just, if it's not, you get to know what the card is on top of your deck,
That's
which
right.
can be super important. I look at the card and it's like, oh, I know I've got Yoda coming, or I know I've got Home 1 coming.
Yep.
So you can literally structure how you play out the next turn based on that knowledge. Which
and what card you discard. Because there's been a lot of times where, you don't have your character and it's like, well, I'll go ahead and discard this lightsaber because I don't need it now. Or I'm going to discard this Trust Your Feelings, which is rare, but like sometimes it's like, I don't have any characters. I've got to get more cards in here.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, Yoda's coming. I'm not discarding that anymore.
is that after your fresh?
It just says action if you control. It's anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime. But you have to have more Hoth objectives than your opponent. So equal 2 won't cut it.
You can be in the middle of combat too.
Yeah, that's.
Let me see that. What?
Is it bananas mode now?
It's really good. I mean, it's
It's once per turn.
Yeah.
Once per, but at any time. Yeah.
Yeah, at any time. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That's right. If you use it during, refresh, basically, you have the ability to know. Well, I guess you're probably going to be drawing at least a card anyway. So,
and it's once per turn.
Yeah.
Which means you can do it on your opponent's turn as well. So.
And you will be doing it on your
Oh
opponent's
man,
turn.
I always forget about that.
You're going to get 2 triggers of this
That's
thing. Yeah.
nuts.
I mean, if this
That's
comes
really
out,
nuts.
if this comes out on your opening, I mean, you get a free unit maybe. Just boom, there it is.
You got to be able to get rid of this objective.
And then it comes back to your turn. You maybe do it again.
And that's the cool thing is that it's not one of those undamaged conditional things. It's just like, oh, you just have to have.
It's churning stuff out.
Yeah.
Seems good.
All right. So next up, we have our first unit character thingy. It is Rogue Leader. 1 cost, 1 force bubble, 1 black objective damage, 1 hit point, vehicle speeder. While you control Rogue 2, this unit gains a tactics icon. Black.
Solid.
I'd pay 1 for that.
Yeah. And one health, not as big of a deal because it can't be choked. So
I'd pay 1 for that, and I would also play it for free with that objective.
Yeah, it fits right in.
I would as well.
Next up is our second speeder. It is Rogue 2. Imagine that. 2 cost, 2 force bubbles, 2 black unit damage. Vehicle speeder, 2 hit points as well, by the way. This unit gains an edge-enabled objective damage for each attacking speeder you control.
Very good.
It's good news bears. And, I have to wonder when they were designing this card if they were like, can we use 2 as much as possible?
Yeah.
2 cost, 2 force icons, 2 unit damage, 2 health. That's pretty funny.
1, 1,
That's
1,
great.
2, 2, 2. All right, and then again, another objective set with 3 dudes in it that you get to play out. The Snowspeeder, 2 cost, 1 bubble, 1 black, unit damage, 1 edge-enabled objective damage, 1 hit point vehicle speeder, and that's it.
Just a standard dude.
Pretty classic.
We've seen him
I'll take
before.
it.
He's as good as he ever was.
That's right. Moving on, we have the Snowspeeder Launch Bay, which is a 2 cost Hoth location, 2 force bubbles, 1 what are we calling this? Resource. Okay. Never mind. Enhance your play area. Reaction. After you strike with a speeder unit, deal 1 damage to a target enemy vehicle unit. If the target unit is a walker unit, also place 1 focus token on it. Limit once per phase. Pretty good. We're going to have, like...
It's good. I mean...
Real
it's good
battle
no matter
Hoth
what.
here.
Like, it's great if they run in walkers. If not, it's still good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good against vehicles in general.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the top dark side decks actually were this really interesting TIE fighter build. They had a lot of those TIE fighters who are not the beefiest of units. So I've got a feeling that is a pretty useful card. The only card this doesn't really affect, or a deck, is Sith Control, which can have an interesting...
You're still getting a resource out of it. And
yeah, it's never bad. It's never bad. And it's non-limited, so you can play it on the same time as you play a resource. I've found that to be so useful. No matter what it is, being able to, on your first turn, drop 2 resources in, even though it's a 2-for-1, lets you get to the bigger cost stuff faster.
Yeah.
So,
But watch out, those AT-ATs can kill it. It's not limited. Anyway, last one to round it out is the Battle of Hoth.
Yep.
Pretty standard, but great.
Good one.
Yeah.
Good card.
it's a good objective set. Very good objective set. I think that's great for the Rebels, and I'm kind of terrified of speeders at this point.
Yeah, watch
Just
out.
throw it out there. All right, next up, we have more Smugglers and Spy. I always call them scum for some reason.
Because you hate them.
Well, it's
That's
Rebel
true.
scum.
Smugglers and Spies, goodness, I am sure. It's a 5/1, undercover dealings. Reaction, after your opponent refreshes, draw to your reserve value. You control fewer units than your opponent.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's real nice.
So the interesting part of this is you have to control fewer units than your opponent.
Yeah.
And if you're drawing to your reserve value, this only gets really crazy when you play a lot of stuff out.
Yeah.
But I see this pairing so well with like the Rebel objective, discard a card, reduce the cost of your next vehicle unit. It's like, oh, I'm going to discard 5 to play home 1 for free. All right, you're up. I'm going to draw 5. Thanks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a deal.
It's a good deal.
It's a really good card.
It's a good one, but it's also kind of a weird one when you have these options, which objective I'm going to play at the first of the game. You know, maybe like it's going to be hard to choose this one over some of those other effects of the unopposed one or the additional objective damage. Like, there's some really good objectives, and that is fairly conditional in its use.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming that your opponent has more units than you, just being able to draw back up to have cards on the edge battle.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm thinking like you first sit down and nobody has anything on the table and you're having to choose the 3 out of 4 that you're putting down.
Yeah.
Is this going to be one of them?
Yeah.
I'm like, probably not.
Yeah.
Let's see what's in it. We get 2 Shadow Operatives. They are 1 cost unit, edge enabled, blast damage, character, action, return this unit to your hand, 1 health. I'm a fan.
Okay.
I feel like this is Jawas on command. So I don't have to lose the edge battle. I can win the edge battle. I can attack. I can then put them back in my hand for to use in an edge battle. 1 cost units are a big deal early. Being able to get a lot of things out, even though it can be force choked, that's fine. Yeah, just having low cost units to play and go through your deck, but still have characters, is important.
I like it. Yeah. Attack with it. If they don't block, they take 2 damage. If they do block, put it in my hand, win an edge battle later.
Well, and that's what, you kind of almost assume they have a tactics icon a little bit. It's not as powerful as a tactics, obviously, but you attack, they block. If you win the edge battle, you strike. If not, you put it in your hand, they still focus down. If you win the edge battle, you strike, then you bounce, then they focus down. So it's really good at that point. I like it. I like it. Next up, we have the Holdout Blaster. 1 cost, 2 force bubble enhancement. It's a weapon. Enhances smuggler character unit, limit 1 per unit. While you control fewer units than your opponent, double enhanced units combat icons.
Yeah, so we're seeing some direction here for the smugglers. It's like you want to have less, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
What is crazy is
Sleuths.
I'm picturing this
It's
on...
going to be a character.
Yeah, I'm
I
picturing
said
this
that
on,
in the other one too.
on Chewbacca.
Yeah.
You double his icons. There's just a lot of ways to use that in a very negative way.
Abused.
Han Solo also just gets I mean, target strike of 4 with 2 tactics and 2 objective damage.
It's a dream.
So that's good. That's a potentially very good card. Next up, we have Narrow Escape. 2 cost, 2 force icons, Smugglers Event. Interrupt. When your opponent chooses a single target for a non-capturing card effect, choose a new target for that effect. The new target is chosen as if you executed the effect.
That's a good little bang to the Sith, I think.
That is not cool for Sith.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and Force Lightning you. Actually, you're going to Force Lightning your own Palpatine. Thanks. That's cool. A game swinger. And it's got 2 force icons, so it's good for that.
That's one over. Let me look at it again.
I'm surprised that it doesn't work on capturing. I feel like that's the most thematic way that you narrowly escape something, is like somebody trying to capture. But
what about the Super Laser Blast?
Did it have to target anything?
You confirm that, because that's what I was thinking.
A single target. No, you can turn the super laser around on
Ouch.
the thing.
I mean, I guess that would be a narrow escape, right?
That would be crazy. That's
awesome.
Insane.
That's awesome.
That's terrifying, is what it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Watch out.
Yeah, I'm thinking here. Yeah, that's a lot of not good. Good for you. All right, so last up we have Tactical Retreat. 1 cost, 1 force icon, Smuggler Event. Action. Return any number of units you control to their owner's hands.
Makes a lot of sense with you having less than your opponent on the board.
I'll tell you, there are edge battles that matter a lot. And being able to pay 1 and put everything you've already attacked with or something that's focused down up into your hand is amazing. Now, I'm picturing this really synergizing well with the Millennium Falcon. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to attack with Han. I'm going to do my stuff. Then I'm going to attack with the Falcon. Then I can pay 1, put Han in my hand, bounce the Falcon, put Han back in, and go with Han again. Or even better, I can play the Falcon, do his thing, put Han. Just the interactions here are crazy with putting stuff into play, taking him out. That's good. That is so good.
I think just picking. I mean, you get that game-winning edge battle, which happens a lot in this game.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna put 5 units back in my hand. Like, you can't win that edge battle, no matter how many twists you have. You can't win it.
Yeah.
So, excellent.
Yeah,
I like it.
That card can
Excellent.
seal the deal. I see this. I don't think that I would want 4 Shadow Operatives in my deck.
No, it's a utility objective.
I definitely see this playing out as, I'm going to put 1 in my deck. If I see the objective when I need it, I have it. If not, I have cards that just do mean things.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to Hold the Line. It's a neutral for the dark side, it looks like. Is it dark side?
It's
Light side.
Light
Boom.
side.
We have 3 Hoth rear guards. First of all, it's a 4/2, so it's not doing much. 3 Hoth rear guards. It's a 3 cost, 1 force icon, 2 unit damage, black, which is nice. Character and a trooper with Protect Hoth. If a Hoth card would be damaged, you can place it on these guys instead. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the 1 cost, Coordinated Strike, 1 force icon. After you resolve a strike, immediately strike again with another ready participating unit you control.
Cool.
So the edge battle, much cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very unexpected sometimes. So another pretty sweet card, and then finish it off with the Battle of Hoth.
Sweet.
So this is a kind of a vanilla objective set. I don't know. I think the Protect Hoth is certainly why you take this. Like, if you're working with these, if this is undamaged, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
These guys can be really significant. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of utility out of this thing. 3 for 2 on these rear guards. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the Protect Hoth is really where it goes, and the fact that they can protect for those objectives that are significant is where it is.
It's nice.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the objective set we saw earlier for the Rebels out that lets you trigger that ability, keeping that around can be a major thing. So I think this is, if you run Hoth deck, it's definitely a consideration to throw one of these in there.
Yeah.
You get a 2 resource, objective that could be useful, but you probably won't start with it. And you get a lot of protection. So if these guys had more force icons, I could really get behind this objective set. But
yeah.
as it stands, it would really need to fit in to where you want it. It's not a bad objective set. It's just not.
It's not as shiny.
Not as shiny as you want
Say
it to
that.
be.
Yeah, the others really just outclassed it, but
It could be the one splash that you make that really
It could be super
takes a deck
useful.
from 9 to 10, though.
Yeah, it could be super useful. So, That's
Overall
it.
thoughts?
Solid.
Hoth, even more incredible. I mean, it's just, you want to play the Hoth game, but there's a lot of reasons to not want to play the Hoth game. But if you're not playing the Hoth game, then they're getting some significant benefits. But if you're playing the Hoth game, then sometimes you can get shut off from playing your Hoth game.
Yep.
It's forcing us into this.
It's really cool.
You gotta
Tug of
play
war.
the battle or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you're really gonna suffer in a lot of ways.
I think it's an interesting way, a very thematic and interesting way to bring out the Battle of Hoth, because if it happens that you run into an opponent during the tournament that is playing Hoth like you are, it can be intense.
It's gonna be a slugfest.
It can, because they're just cards that just hammer on other. Desolation of Hoth as an example. It just hammers someone that's running Hoth objectives. But it's an awesome thing. I've always been looking forward to the point in like 6 months to a year when the whole Hoth cycle is kind of behind us, and it's that sort of deck that like you sort of forget about. It's like, oh yeah, they had that speeder thing with all those Hoth objectives. And I think a well-timed meta call at some point, going back to Hoth when no one's playing Hoth anymore, will be very powerful. I think it's a very great addition to the whole Hoth cycle. We're getting a lot of deck options with the Edge of Darkness Deluxe, and then this, we get one more pack. Worlds is going to be... It's going to be
a crazy one, man. For all these games, just crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what pops up by Worlds, because Nationals was very interesting.
Yeah, indeed. So there you have it. I mean, this is I like it. I consistently get excited about every game because the packs are just killing it recently. I don't know. Design on everything seems to be great. The new Thrones pack was fantastic. The new Star Wars pack is fantastic. I've seen a lot of spoilers from, we've seen opening moves.
Right.
It's fantastic. We'll be fully unboxing that one here shortly. Like, everything's just going so well for these LCGs right now.
Even Lord of the Rings, man.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings. Who can forget Lord of the Rings? I mean, all those things are just getting better and better. It's like...
It's a golden age.
It's the golden age of gaming.
It really is.
The golden age. This is a very innovative time for tabletop games. I think the whole LCG model, the way that Fantasy Flight's approaching things, is really changing things away from collectible, more to, focusing on quality, like real quality that you can get out in an easy way.
And it's innovative too. I mean, that was something that we brought up in the Lord of the Rings interview, especially at Gen Con. But every one of these games is doing things that's unique and really mixing it up. It's not like the same old rinse and repeat that you've seen not only within their own games or in other games, but like it's just new stuff, and that's awesome.
They're really playing well to the format.
Yeah,
like they're finding ways to explore it that you couldn't explore in other ways.
Yeah.
And it really is exciting. It's exciting to see what's possible, and specifically in Star Wars, the deck building mechanic. So many people were concerned about. I think people are realizing it's actually more difficult to build decks.
So hard. It's more intimidating for me to build a Star Wars deck.
It is.
Deck right
it's
now.
tough. It's less decisions, but way more important decisions.
Yeah. Every choice is 10%. What?
Yeah. So very awesome force back.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your viewership. If you'd like to subscribe to us, that's a great thing to do so that you can be updated whenever stuff like this releases. If you want the Battle of Hoth, it's in the store. You can get it there, and we would love to send that out to you. And though we can't see the happy look on your face when you open it, we can at least share some in that excitement of getting it out to you. So thank you again for all that you're doing in supporting us, watching the videos at Gen Con, and we'll catch you next time with some more unboxings.